I got my glasses today. Tell me what you think. Wow, way different than what I had before, right? I decided to go with something a little bit more fun. When I was a kid, plastic glasses were like the nerdy thing to wear, and that's what my mom always bought me. But now they're like way cool and a fashion statement, so I'm actually pretty happy. Now my eye story is a little bit weird. I was 19 when I first started noticing that there was something going on with my eyes. I was in college and I was sitting in the hallway waiting for the class to get out that I was going to go into next. So I was just sitting there staring across the hallway, and I thought, oh, that's so weird. I can actually see the air between me and the wall. Really, really strange sensation. That actually got worse over time to the point of where it didn't look like air moving around anymore, but it actually looked like the static that you would see on the old tube TVs. For those of you old enough to remember those, you know, where you'd push the button and the TV would turn off, and you'd push it and it'd come back on. And if the antenna wasn't just right, then you'd get the little static on the TV. Well, I went to my family care doctor and told him I'm having some weird issues with my eyes, along with my ears. I can kind of hear the static that I'm seeing. It gets really loud sometimes, and sometimes it's almost not there. It's kind of the same with the static that I see. If I'm outside almost all the time on a bright day, I don't really see anything unless it's really dark outside. In the house, it gets worse the darker it is, but even when it's light inside, I still can see the static a little bit. My family care doctor said, oh, you just have a little bit of tinnitus in your ear, but didn't really give me a solution for what I should do about the tinnitus. And then he told me that I needed to go to an eye doctor to get my eyes looked at. So I did. I went to my eye doctor and told him the same thing, and he did a really good exam and said, no, your eyes are just fine, you're doing pretty good. So years went by and I'd go in and get my eyes checked, and it was always, yeah, it's pretty good. A few years ago, I'm like, I need to bring this up again. And so I did, and I said, you know, I'm getting this real static stuff in my eyes. I don't know what's going on. It gets worse sometimes, it gets better sometimes, and once again, your eyes look great. I got sent to a doctor who was doing some testing on me, who said I had something called hyperreflexia and was really worried that I had MS. So he decided that I needed an MRI, and I talked to him about my eyes and what was going on then, because the eye doctor had said, it's not your eyes that are the problem, maybe there's something going on in your brain. So I went in and had the MRI, and I came back and the doctor said that my brain actually looked fine. This was several years ago. He said, your brain looks fine, but your neck has 3 bulging discs, 3 degenerated discs, and it's full of bone spurs. Great. But hey, your eyes are great and we're not really seeing signs of MS. So my eyes have just continued to have this issue, and my recent appointment that I just went to, same thing. Hey, guess what? I'm having these issues, and all the doctor said was, aren't you a little dramatic? I really hate it when doctors don't listen. If they look at you and they say you're fine, but you're saying, no, I'm not fine, they're not looking in the right places, are they? So for years, I really didn't know what was going on with me, and I was getting really frustrated because I was being told I was fine, and I knew I wasn't. And I would get on Google every once in a while and Google staticky vision and things like that, and I know nothing ever really came up until just a couple years ago. And I came across a website for visual snow. This thing actually has a name. It's so interesting. Google visual snow and you'll see what I mean. There is a website that you can go to, and it actually has an interactive graphic that you can play around with, so you can look at your version of visual snow. I actually have the stars in my vision when I'm looking at car lights at night, and I have kind of right in the middle visual snow at my worst. But it was really interesting, and I decided to show on Facebook, hey, this is what I see every single day. and the most interesting thing came up. I have some half sisters and a half brother that I have never met, and we found each other on Facebook. We don't really talk or anything, but every once in a while I'll post something and my half brother will make a comment, and he's like, yeah, that's what I see too. Oh my gosh, that's someone to identify with who happens to be a relative. So is it genetic? I don't really know, but it was really interesting. The interesting thing about visual snow, as I've done my research, is that doctors don't believe it exists mostly. Most of them just don't even believe it exists. And then they say things like, the people who have visual snow have all been drug addicts and things like that. And I'm like, nope, not me. So I think there needs to be a lot more research done on visual snow. But once again, it's such a rare thing and doctors don't even believe it exists that people aren't really looking into it as much as they should. I did join a support group on Facebook that almost never comments. People almost never say anything, but I still feel secure knowing that I'm there, part of the group. I was just really grateful when I came across the term visual snow that I was validated that I really wasn't going crazy and I wasn't making things up. It felt good to finally find others who was going through the same thing as me. So Google visual snow, find that website, and tell me what you think. Do any of you out there have visual snow? What have your experiences been? Thanks for watching.